Well, hello, my brothers and sisters. This is Dwayne Kirkland, Bill of Rights advocate, constitutional self-claimed officer, and with many other titles of nobility um, on the front lines. So tonight I just want to do a small little read real quick from our office in Texas. Constitutional Counsel, Advocacy, and Investigations Headquarters. Bill of Rights offices in harmony across the nation. Post Office Box 114, London, Arkansas 72847. That's the Arkansas office, but I'm actually here in Texas office. The Texas office is P.O. Box 1753, Bel Air, Texas 77402. Same phone number, 406-369-0482. The phone number is out of the Montana territory. But however, I'm going to do a little bit of read here, give you a little bit about our office, what we do, and then I'm going to read some more other information to you for you to share with the public. Okay, so this is an Overwatch team notification. It says September 8th, 2020. It's not the actual date today. The date today is 9/15/2020. To whom it may concern, we are a public overwatch that conducts investigations. We are now informing you of our titles of nobility and our letter to let you know who we are. One of our offices across the nation is contacted, and I am now informing you that we are going to monitor your communications and collect evidence and document what we see and hear and third-party witnesses. That's kind of what we do. To even the playing field out. It says, if you have any questions, please call our offices or contact in writing with any questions. The first phone call will be free. I like that, what I put in there, right? It says, and after that, everything will be in writing and documented for investigations to see if officers who serve the public know the basic rights and the basic Bill of Rights at a state and federal level, which are in harmony, and to share discovery of the actual law at a state and federal level. We are investigating and interviewing the people named above as defendants and all officers of the court and agents of the local, state, and federal corporate service agencies involved with these cases for breach of the constitutional contract and violations of public laws titled. We are a group of advocates and constitutional officers who are a public overwatch on police officers, judges, attorneys, lawyers, institutions, insurance agents, insurance companies who operate under the color of the actual law in violation of the ironclad contracts of the states' constitutions and the Constitution for the United States of America, all which secure and guaranteed protections of the therein enumerated inherent and inalienable natural rights of the people. Wow, that's heavy. We collect information and maintain a full record for each man and woman of every age who has been violated, harmed, and or injured in any manner or matter contrary to the intent of the ironclad constitutional contract and the principles of nature and nature's God, Creator God, with many names, Yahweh. You name, I'm studying Hebrew, so I say Yahweh or Yah, Messiah, Shalom, Shalom. I'm learning a new language. But however, I'll continue on. Furthermore, number 8 here on the title nobility letter says, we are diligent and thorough in our research efforts to hold individuals and institutions accountable for violations in which they have any part of adversary affecting the people in any manner and matter. We consider every offense to any of the people a signal that greater harm and oppression is on the horizon, and therefore we stand at the gate to inspect, discover, and expose all opposition of every nature. That means we stand up, all of our team members, individuals that are part of this team and part of this movement to teach the masses the true intent of the law and support institutions that are actually know the law. We are actually assisting in freeing the masses from the shackles and chains that they are trapped under. Anyways, it's a figure of speech on that. But yeah. Okay, we love our officers and respect them for being in harmony with the words and principles of the state's constitutions and Constitution for the United States of America. Yes, we love officers and police officers, but unfortunately, there's officers that have no clue of the Bill of Rights or of the Declarations of Rights, the amendments, their oath of office. They don't know the definition of their job. I mean, there's a lot of them out there. Unfortunately, that's the way the government teaches them. Unfortunately, that's what we want to change to save. Once that's changed, the officers know the Bill of Rights. They would be able to save life, limb, and to pursue happiness, and also protect life, limb, and to protect the happiness of individuals. And they will learn not to rob, trespass, or tort among their fellow Americans that they serve and that they are supposed to protect. But however, unfortunately, that's why police officers get shot today, is because the actual masses are learning what true freedom is all about, and they're starting to realize, wow, we were never really free. We were tricked by code, statutes, regulations, proclamations, and private corporations' policies and police policies. So they're learning what the distinctive differences are compared to the actual law of the fundamental nation's principles and history. It's amazing. I love it. I'm glad, but I mean, unfortunately, um, freedom. Unfortunately, there's people that have to die, which I don't want anybody to die, but unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And the weak shall perish. The ones that don't stand up and fight and for their beliefs of the Creator, Yahweh, God, whatever name you want to call him. And reality is only one God. Um, Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Hopefully, the masses continue to figure it out and unite together as one for the good cause, but not a negative cause, because the Bill of Rights will be the key to true freedom, to find out who is the enemies within our nation and worldwide. It's very simple. The Bill of Rights, if you know it, you're going to know who's trespassing and torting on you, or who's um, going against their fellow man or woman. It's that simple. Or country or family. You just don't do it. In order for an actual crime to occur, for the police officer to even make contact with you, um, the crime has to be supported by affirmation of an oath, affidavit, or an indictment, or by two witnesses of the acts being committed, or swear with two witnesses to file an affidavit or a um, uh, affidavit, basically, to actually be a crime with the victim, or property damage, or even a violation against the Constitution of the sister states in harmony. That's what part of the elements of a true crime is. All this other stuff they teach the lawyers in school, law school, is totally irrelevant. It's they go on to specialize in multiple different types of so-called code, statutes, proclamations in different inferior courts, and actually they're all foreign. They're not even actually American. And for people will understand, it's a whole nother reading the story. But anyways, I'm elaborating too far off this, but I'm going to continue on. If you have any questions, you can always call the office, and one of our team members can get you the right direction, or somebody can answer your questions. Okay, so it says, we love our officers. Okay, I got that. It says, okay, then I just basically, preamble, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. And that was back in September 17, 1787. Okay, now this puts you and defendants herein, and all officers, agents, and companies not yet named, on notice in your private and personal capacity, and on your full commercial and personal liability, and your official capacity and liability in the people adversely affected in the matters pertaining to alleged cases, are thereby suffering under, number one. This is pretty common, same MO across the states. Number one, your breaches in the above sections of the ironclad Constitutional contract. Okay, that means the police officers, the institution, the governments that are supposed to serve us, they violate the actual contract that's entitled to us in our inherited rights, that is our warranty, and it's guaranteed to us the day that we were born on this land. Number two, what are they doing when they do that and violate that contract? They're doing treason against the oath of office by several individuals, and number three, by issues for invoking one's constitutional ironclad contract secured inherent natural rights during encounters and processes with police officers, peace officers, and sheriffs and institutions who operate under the color of law. So there's definitely some conflict there with the people's guaranteed rights. The Bill of Rights is part of that. Actually, anything in conflict, according to actual law, 16th Amateur Prudence law, actually, in depth, it will tell you that any laws, code, statutes, and regulations that were made and created by the legislative, that those ones that create law and make law, the actual laws in a certain process, they cannot make laws that are repugnant and in conflict with the Constitution of the United States of America, and at a state level and federal level. And when they do that, they're actually committing treason and committing crimes against the states and the union, period. Okay, however, that's another whole read again, another study that I can elaborate on. Questions, again, just ask. I can break it down to you in a lower language. Okay, so treason against the oath of office, I got that. By issues for invoking, okay, see, during the country, okay, hiding behind the color of law, those lower inferior courts are operating under the color of law. They're using the law to cover them to justify other reasons and bill of attainers to rob us and rob the masses. However, that's explained in another reading too. Bill of attainder and those issues are all total different reads by themselves. Okay, so we monitor that stuff. We monitor the radio communications between officers and dispatch. We are collecting information regarding violations of the people's privacy and other constitutionally protected provisions, securing their inherent and inalienable natural rights so that we can bring violations and offenses to the attention of those who are attempt to break down the ironclad contractual constitutions between them and the people, and educate them therein so they stop and correct. And that's going to get into many different ways of violations on, it tells you all day long if any city, town, franchise, corporation that is operating in the United States on our land for the masses and serves the masses, they cannot violate any constitutional provisions, articles, declarations, anything. They just can't. It's against the law according to actual law. And it's strictly even states into their insurance policies. And all these corporations, city, towns, franchise are called fiduciary acts, omissions of errors. It actually stipulates in the insurance papers. And if you can, we're investigating right now how we're going to go after them. We're going to, maybe I can tell you one of these other days on a reading to let you know, but we will go after them another way that we're investigating because they're so corrupt. You can't really go into the system and actually get to them because they're so well protected with each other in collusion. So we have discovered another way to approach to get them, to hit them by their money in their book, money pockets, and we're in the middle of that right now. But really, all day long on just civil issues, you can file liens and take their cars, their houses, their wife's bank accounts, their family bank accounts, anything when they work for the government and they serve the people. And if they violate or diminish any constitutional rights or articles or declarations of rights at a state level and federal level, you can sue them all day long. There's case laws after case laws in actual law that tell you they have no immunity, period, regardless of what they say in law. If Congress tries to say that the police have no immunity or anybody has no immunity, parts of the government, that's wrong. That's just straight up wrong. It's actually repugnant to the Constitution at a state level and federal level. But anyways, that's another whole read, another word, another key word, immunity or impunity or immunity, or you can go on. Okay, so most recently, we have been contacted by one of the people whom you have encroached and infringed upon personally, privately, and publicly against his or their persons, land, house, papers, and effects, and against his or their inherent and inalienable rights, specifically guaranteed and secured by the Bill of Rights of the Constitution of the United States of America, recorded in the following amendments, ratified December 15th, 1791, and over the following 75 5 years. Okay, then it gets into a quick attachment on this with the Bill of Rights. It gives you the amendments 1 through 10, and it popped in there with a couple other ones. 14th Amendment, some other vital ones that are good for when it comes to due process violations. So I would urge you to read the Bill of Rights. I'm not going to get into reading all of it right here to you, but I would urge the masses to read it. I will read, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to read the Fourth Amendment. It says, Amendment 4, in all criminal prosecutions, accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and wait a minute. Let's see. I want the right of the people. Okay, here we go. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable search and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons and things to be seized. Wow, that alone is powerful. But you know what I want to share with you real quick before I continue reading on is there's a couple of points I want to make. Number one, do you know that anytime there's a tort trespass or you feel that you're being violated from the government or any individuals, it doesn't matter if it's government, it's just being violated in general, period. The First Amendment, in the First Amendment, it tells you we have a right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. Now, if you can plug your situation in an argument and write that you are being violated and they're blocking, obstructing, or diminishing your life to pursue life, liberty, and happiness, they just violated the First Amendment. That one alone is powerful. And then you get into the Fifth Amendment that says some of the same merits in it when you get into reading it. But that's why it's important to read these things. You can break them down. Those clauses, the independent clauses, the separation, the separate clauses, they're all important and in harmony. You can take your situation and plug it in and utilize it to your advantage. You can go in and write them a bill for diminishing your rights. For each violation, amendment, declarations of rights, for at least $50,000 for each one. I mean, you can. You can just sue them. But however, we'll skip the rest of these amendments. But I just tell you they're important. I don't want to skip them, but I just wanted to elaborate a little bit on it. Okay, so this is a great title nobility letter for our business, or not for for the Bill of Rights offices, for America's Bill of Rights offices. It's not mine. I treat everybody equal for the team and for the people. This is their office that I created. There's a few people that's the founders on this. This is one of our team members out of Florida, one of our team members out of Arkansas, and also right here out of Texas and Montana. So let's see. So read the amendments, especially the Bill of Rights 1 through 10. Okay, the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Okay, it says amendment. Okay, wait a minute. It says, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within the jurisdiction the equal protection of the law, ratified. So that's in the amendments. It's one of the clauses. That's the 14th Amendment, I believe. The Equal Protection Clause is what they call it. Okay, 14. Okay, here we go. It seems that judges, attorneys, lawyers, and all delegated powers who have sworn the oath to protect life, limb, and property are the most neglectful of their duty to protect the people, according to their ironclad constitutional contract on behalf of the people. Rather than protect the true intent of the constitutional provisions on behalf of the people, many officers run Gestapo-type checks against the people and invade the people's privacy by operations of acts of statutes, codes, regulations, and undisclosed quasi-contracts repugnant, keyword, to the constitutions. It's a conflict of interest. Judges, magistrates, commissioners, attorneys, and lawyers generally speak and act thou the Constitution provisions have no merits during lower court proceedings, even to the point of meeting in private star chambers without public overwatch. Yeah, that just shows the corruption. And you want to know from experience, from myself, of being encroached and infringed all my life, and being treated like a war criminal, even though I'm an ex-soldier. Believe it or not, my own country treated me like a war criminal. But I mean, they leave me alone now. They don't bother me. I walk tall and proud, and strapped a gun on my chest wherever I go. They don't really bother me. which is great. It took me many years of suffering and pain to come to that point. Knock on wood, they haven't killed me yet, and I hope they don't. But I believe I got Yahweh and God behind, Yahweh behind me in Hebrew language, Yahweh and Messiah protecting me. Besides, um, the Holy Spirit and Baruch, Baruch, and many other key words as Hebrew language. But anyways, continue on with see. Okay, so most police officers seem to not know or blatantly ignore the Bill of Rights and the proper response to the people of law and the declarations of rights at a state and federal levels when rights are invoked. So that's why the cops for so long been shooting individuals for when they violate the privacy or pull them over for traffic infraction. Those codes, regulations, or proclamations, bill of attainder. They're all that's illegal. It's not. It's they pull the private person over, traveling their private property in their vehicle, traveling. They're not road for hire, but if they want to go, they're allowed to go after commercial vehicles like buses, trucks, people that are road for hire. But anyways, that's a whole nother read. Anyways, cops get shot now because people want to be free, and they're realizing the whole time they haven't been free, but now they're learning what true freedom is, and now they're standing their ground for what their fundamental principles is of their nation and their inherent rights. And they tried to take that away from everybody, and they still to this day try to take it away. But there's people that are paying the price to protect these rights for us. So it's really important uh, that we all stand our ground and unite together on those issues. But okay, so some officers violate their oath of office and delegated powers in derogation of Article 6, Section 2, Article 6, Paragraph 2, the Supremacy Clause, which if you read the second clause, the second paragraph on that, it'll make sense to you what I'm explaining to you. So read Article 6, Paragraph 2, the Supremacy Clause. They have it at a state level and federal level. And then the 10th Amendment above and the separation of powers is very important. It's key. Okay, so Article 6, Section 2, which is Article 6, Paragraph 2 of the Constitution of the United States of America. Now, listen to this. This Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made, or which shall be made under the authority of the United States. Who's under authority? Who makes law? Congress, legislative, okay, lawmakers. Under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of land, and the judges in every state. Now, here's the key thing about this. Now, they make laws all day long, and the laws they make are totally ridiculous, and they rob people, and they justify it, and then they turn around and say it's a supreme law, but they don't really read the actual law of the second paragraph that I'm bringing out to you right here. Now, here's what it says. Every state shall be bound thereby anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary is notwithstanding. So that means any laws that the legislative makes that's in conflict is notwithstanding. It has no right to operate, have an office to back it up. It has no right to have law enforcement to back it up. It's all day long. That's the law, and that's where the problem is. These foreign institutions that are hiding behind the corporation, hiding behind the color of law, which is called Title 42 U.S. is the title that you would use 1986 cases to actually sue them. Oh, and then just recently, believe it or not, people don't know this. I study law, so I know this. The Supreme Court behind the scenes just passed that corporations and non-citizenship Americans, non-Americans, immigrants, do not have any constitutional rights until they become. The corporations have no rights at all because they're not a real person, living person. They're a fictional person. They're under LLCs, they're under different head names, so they get covered. They're not the real individuals, so they don't have any constitutional rights. Period, none whatsoever. They have no protections. You can get them all day long, like these stores, Walmart, and all that. You go in there and get them all day long on the violations, and you can sue them and make big money. But it's happening, but it just hasn't catched on yet all the way. Okay, now when it comes to immigrants and non-Americans that's come here, that it doesn't matter until they swear to our flag, to our nation, and become an American citizen. That's when they get entitled to the constitutional rights and the protections under the land of the inheritance rights of the living people of the land. Period. That's just the way it is. But a lot of people don't want to accept that, don't want to know that, but that's the truth. Okay, so our duty is to communicate on issues that can help the people to save life, limb, and to protect private, free people from abuse and deprivation of their natural inherent rights to be secure in their persons, land, and property, papers, and effects, to safeguard the people's contractually guaranteed rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and to protect and to preserve the actual law. That statement, all I just read in there, is pretty much almost the whole part of the Fourth Amendment. Okay, so we seek to bring attention, our office, our people, our team members, we seek to bring attention to errors and omissions so corrections can be made. So we do give the opportunity by just warning them, going through the due process, even the equal playing field out for the individuals that are going to court for them and to help them. And we let them have the opportunity to make the corrections. But they're so dumb. The courts, the judges, the lawyers, the prosecuting attorneys, I mean, they are so dumb. We throw the rope on them, we throw it over their head, and they just tighten it and tighten it more and more. We just trap them, plant the seeds, and put on the record the more crimes they committed. And then at the end, we just get them for treason. And then we distribute the information, the evidence is planted, and then we contact the authorities and we move the suits, the soldiers, to go and investigate. And then once they investigate, they get the information, and those people slowly disappear. And we don't know where they go. I'll give you some ideas, but I'm not going to elaborate on that right now. Okay, we have no control of individuals who take public information to proceed for criminal charges for activity, singly or in collusion, by racketeering, influence, and corrupt organizations, the RICO law. And it says, see case 1916 CV 16841, annex document filed 6/19/2019, and it's 30 pages long. But anyways, make it simple. It's just institutions that monopolize against the American people and the masses, to monopolize and make money. Good example: Child Protective Services, insurance companies, multiple different institutions that branched off from different parts of the government. That's an overreach of their limitations and the enumerated powers. Anyways, that's another whole read. Okay, so In God We Trust, Dwayne Kirkland, UCC 1-308, without prejudice, and advocate witnesses, self-claimed constitutional officer, in harmony with all states and public overwatch and 11 Bravo Infantry, and bound by the oath 4 times. That's me. That's what I'm telling you. I took the oath in my military career. I'm not getting into all my military career, but I'm 11 Bravo ex-soldier. Once a soldier, always a soldier. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm on the front lines. Christ with the blood in the bloodline. Soldier on the front line. That's me. Okay, so, and I took the oath 4 times. Okay, and it's still there. I even took it again on the private side, as not even being in uniform. Okay, and anyways, I wanted to throw out the address real quick if I didn't give it to you. The Texas address is a P.O. Box 1753, Bel Air, Texas 77402. Same phone number. It's 1406-369-0482. Okay, now I'm going to give you a list of the names real quick, briefly, with our other offices and team members in different states. This is how much we've grown. We've actually grown way more than this, but these are the ones that really are active, working the most, and on their own cases and assisting people that need help. And we're trying to create this bigger and bigger, and it seems to be growing every day. We do have some spies that infiltrate us, that try to destroy us, which we go through all the time. But that's my job as the leader, to see who the enemies are within, trying to distract and divide us. But I'll tell you, it's tough. It's really tough to hold us together, to keep these people united as one, because they all have different religious beliefs. They all have different point of views. It's just a tough task. But with God backing me up, I seem to be continue with my calling and making it happen. But anyways, here's some of the Constitutional Counsel, Advocacy, and Investigations Overwatch team members. All right, number 1, this person's name is Lawrence. I'll just give you the first name. I'm not going to give you the last name. I consider him my intel officer. He's a Bill of Rights office in Cincinnati, Ohio. Okay, and Andrew Media is one of our lawsuit counsels out of Florida. Talona is out of Arkansas office. Tanya is out of California office. Leroy is out of Texas office. Leonard is at a Texas office. Keith is at a Texas office. Anthony is at a Montana office. Gene is at a Montana office. Stanley is at a Canada. Stephen is at Arizona. Mark is at a Michigan. Ryan is out of Texas. Drew is out of California. Brody's is at Ohio. And we have a lot more. It's just not listed on this letter at this time, but that gives you an idea of these people work hard 24 hours a day, behind the scenes, risking their life every day. They can get shot at any time, which I pray and hope they never do. We're all targets because we're exposing judges, lawyers, and police officers for a living. And but all we're trying to do is really help and give them the opportunity to make the corrections and just bring it to their attention. Okay, quick little read here, finish the rest of our life. I mean, there's actually a couple more pages to share, but I'm going to go real briefly. It says, we request, this is kind of what we do to help people when they contact our office. We notify the wrongdoers. It says, we request to mitigate the tension between we the people of our great nation and to ease the pain and suffering caused to the plaintiff by the defendants and all institutions operating under the color of law. So what we do is we notify them. We give a criminal complaint or a complaint, and we list our clients as the plaintiffs, not the defendants. We list them as the plaintiffs, and then we turn around and list the wrongdoers as the defendants, and we go that route in formality. And man, that makes, oh man, it works. I'm just going to say that. I elaborate on that whole reading and studies on that. But okay, so we request the police officers to be called off their scare tactics and acts of military Gestapo actions brought upon the public and the plaintiff, and to hold each one of them accountable for their acts against the plaintiff and the fundamental principles of this great nation. Full report in a timely manner. I always say that in my writings because if they ever ask me in a timely manner, I would love to give them a full report on what I'm saying. I'm just good at it. I've learned. It's just something that Yahweh and Messiah has done for me. That's why I'm doing and who I am, what I'm about. Okay, we hope that you know the Bill of Rights and the amendments and declarations of rights that all promise to protect and preserve. And there's even a scripture that's in here. So Proverbs 31, chapter 9, open your mouth, judge righteously, and plead the case of the poor and needy. That's exactly what we do. Whosoever vows to the Lord or swears an oath to bind himself by a bond, he shall not break his promise, but shall do according to all that proceeds out of his mouth. Wow. Then I got a few links that you got in there, some videos, readings I did. Here's this is all put on for the closer here. This closer is a code that I created. It's called 11 Bravo Infantry Treason Overwatch for the public. It's basically telling you the treason. It says the operations of institutions that break down the laws, the amendments, declarations of rights of the states is sedition and is against the states that are to operate in harmony of the actual law. When the institutions break down the law, then they are committing crimes against the government and its people, we the people. Conduct which is directed against a government and which tends toward insurrection but does not amount to treason is sedition by breaking down our laws. Treasonous conduct consists of levying war against the United States or adhering to its enemies, giving them aid and comfort. By breaking our laws and violating them is treason and acts against the government as a whole. Giving the institutions aid by breaking down the laws is assisting the enemies within to tear our system and godly principles, is treason and is in violation of the people. Quote from my fellow teacher that is no longer here. Quote of Carl Miller, constitutional scholar, expert, educator, proponent, and defender, a highly decorated hero of the Vietnam War, serving in the elite Apache troop, member of the top secret project Blue Book, served in Operation Eagle Snatch, and more. Remarkable man. Oh man, his stories of what he went through, just amazing. Okay, and then I got discovery I'd share with lawsuits. If you want to assume, I got a part that says argument in lawsuit cases if plaintiff is deprived of their rights in some capacity to which they are entitled. Owen versus Independence, 1982 case. Maine versus Thibbet, 1982 case. Officers have no immunity when violating constitutional rights from liability. Title 42, U.S. Code, Section 1983, Section. 1985 section, 1986. Say the plaintiff can use anyone who violates. Oh, okay. So the plaintiff can sue anyone who violates the constitutional provisions. Case Byers versus United States. U.S. Supreme Court rulings. Encroachment. Miranda versus Arizona. Says no rule or law by legislation which would abrogate or abolish any constitutional right or provisions. All delegated power under the 10th Amendment of the United States of America attach all writ of cis, coupon, illegal bill of attainers, direct tax is a violation under Article 1, Section 9 and 10 of the U.S. Constitution, a violation of Title 18 U.S. Code Section 2381, 1628, and further 241, 242 U.S. Title 18 codes. If they fail to protect Constitution, they are subject to the charge count 1, felony treason. Okay? Case law, Murdoch versus Pennsylvania. 1943 case. State may not impose a charge for enjoyment of right by the beneficiary of the contract. So if you claim it, you say the beneficiary of the contract, they can't. You have immunity. They can't charge you for it. But how many people has tried that and did that? I have. It works. These laws, these case laws work. You can beat them without even going to court. You can just send it to the prosecuting attorney with the argument. If the attorney's smart enough, he's going to file a dismissal immediately or on in a timely manner. They don't do it immediately. Trust me. They'll prolong it and play you and see what you really know for quite a long time. Count 2, Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 241, 242. There it is again. If upon conviction the violators is subject to a $10,000 fine, 10 years in jail, or both, and if theft results, if they steal your stuff, take your car, whatever, money, rob you, under the law, color law, they get life in prison. How many people know that? Huh. That's something to know. Constitution of Florida, there's the last part here on our letter says the Constitution of Florida, Declarations of Rights, Article 1, Section 23. It's going to insinuate the essential of privacy, which every state has. The right of privacy. Every natural person has the right to be left alone, and free from government intrusion into the person's private life except as otherwise provided by herein, which would be trespass, tort, or if you harm somebody. But anyways, that's a breakdown for that. Man, I'd like to get into this other letter for you. It's called From the Bill of Rights Offices Across the Nation. I'll read that one on another read. It's some discovery. It's great. It's got some good points in it. But anyways, I'm going to give a closer. That was a good, quick read. I pray and hope that people see this video and understand it and have any questions. Just try to locate our offices by phone or email. Again, here's the phone number for the Bill of Rights offices. It's 1406-369-0482. 1406-369-0482. And also an email is usawritt@protonmail.com. So thank you for listening. Enjoy, and I hope I touched your heart to investigate what we're doing, and pray and hope that individuals will join and be part of the team and support the good people of this nation and continue leading the way for the world and for our people to lead them to true freedom, just like Moses did. Free the slaves. Unfortunately, we are still slaves, and I'm working hard to free the slaves. Thank you. God bless you.